Are you experiencing a lot more sensitivity than usual? Maybe being more aware than you've ever been of your feelings, the energy around you, other people, the world, and it is overwhelming and maybe even flooding your nervous system a bit. Well, my name's Sonia Choquette, and today I'm going to talk about how to manage this transformation that's going on the planet, as well as going on inside of you, in a way that'll give you more peace and support and grounding, and actually introduce you to your intuitive divine support system so that you can learn to be in your body in this world, read the energy, read life, read what's unfolding with clarity, accuracy, and empowerment, so that you can create what you want, and that you can connect with who you want, and you can contribute in the way you want that actually makes the world better. Thanks for tuning into my channel. If you're new, I welcome you, and I'm very excited to share these tips and tools with you. And if you're coming back, welcome back. We will continue our discussion of the great change, the great shift that is well underway on this planet, and how it is affecting you, and how you can turn this shift into the most powerful and positive creative experience for you possible. Today I'm going to talk about something that I touched on last week, which is how to work with, first of all, to notice that your intuition is a big awakening part of this shift that we have more than 6 senses. We definitely have our outer senses, which, by the way, don't work so well. If you've noticed, we hear, but we don't listen. We see, but we don't look. We even eat, we don't taste. We're just numbed out, and when we're in a fight or flight mode. But when we start to activate our inner senses, everything starts to change. When our gut starts activating, we start feeling and sensing if something is scary or threatening to us, and it's a warning. I call that gut intuition your red light. Stop intuition. That red light intuition is often the first that's activating. I know it's activated for a lot of us because we don't feel safe, and we have to make new decisions that are congruent with who we are. That red light is telling you if something isn't good for you. And we need to listen to that red light intuition. For example, I have a client that I worked with who was applying for a new job because his wife was having a baby. They didn't have enough money. He had major stress on and was, of course, in a big fight or flight mode internally, although he looked cool and calm on the outside. Well, as he was looking for jobs, he was offered one job that offered a lot of money. But everything in him was red light, red light, red light. For one, it required extensive traveling. And he had a wife who was having a baby. He was having a family, didn't want to be away all the time. And that job seemed to be pretty sales motivated. And the idea was, we'll pay you a lot, but man, you better perform. So the pressure would be relentless. And he really was logically tempted to take the job. But his red light was saying, no, don't do it, don't do it. Well, guess what? He took the job. And he said, it made me sick to take the job. But even worse, once I started the job, I really got sick. I was under so much pressure and so much stress and so much anxiety. And my wife was resentful that I wasn't home, that I actually developed an ulcer in a few months and got sick. I should have listened to myself, because now he's with a brand new baby and back to square one looking for a job all over again. Now, I know that we get a lot of pressure from the outside, but we have to listen to that red light, because behind it is the green light. And the green light is the light, the inner guidance says, do this or go there. It helps direct you to the circumstances, situations, and relationships that are congruent with who you are, where you can actually align comfortably and contribute positively and grow. Now, maybe you're getting a green light, but green lights sometimes are intuitively as challenging as red lights to listen to. I have a client who was introduced to a man. She lived in Australia, and she was introduced to a man spontaneously on a work business trip who lived 6 hours away. And she had been single for over 11 years, but she just fell in love with this guy. He fell in love with her too. And he just had such a spontaneous, positive, genuinely fun time for 5 days. So when she came back home, green light, this is a good guy. Be open. Not even get up and move. Just be open to what might unfold. Sure enough, she got home, told her friends, got in her head, and he lives away. He's with someone else. You'll never be able to control this. So she turned it down. She turned it down. He called her for a while, and finally he said, I'm just really sad that you didn't pursue this. I haven't met anybody in a while that was so exciting to me. So she went for maybe 6 weeks having decided to turn it down, and then she decided her green light was like, what are you doing? You've wanted some good connection forever. Don't judge by appearances. Just open up to the possibilities. So she got back in contact with him. He was a little hesitant. Who blames him, wouldn't you be? But he finally gave in, and she and he started this long-distance connection. And then 11 months later, she got a job transfer to where he lived. So there you go. Now they're in the same city and developing a really meaningful connection. She almost messed it up. Well, she did mess it up. Thank God his green light gave her a second chance. You know, our inner self is trying to have us read situations accurately. But are we going to cooperate? Or are you just going to fight it and continue to be addicted to chaos? Which is what happens when you only live with your outer senses and your logic. Which, by the way, doesn't work very well and is often just a whole jumble of everybody else's fears dumped on you and told you and tell you the truth, that this is the truth. So I'm not saying don't use your logic. I'm saying use your logic to cooperate with your intuition. There's another intuition that's also awakening in us. It's called the yellow light intuition. And this is the one that I really support everybody paying attention to. And that's the intuition that says, just pump the brakes. Just pause for a minute. Let's just pause. Let's not jump into anything too quickly. And that's hard because our egos want to be in control and want to grab on. And we're living in a world that says, if you don't grab it now, you're going to lose. Now, I had a client in Texas who wanted to buy a house. And she was a very prosperous woman, and she had the money. But the house she loved was perfect for her, but it was too expensive. And it was not prohibitively out of her range too expensive, but just in her heart and spirit, she said it was too expensive. So they pushed and pushed and pushed. Her realtor pushed, her partner pushed. Let's get it. But her pause said, wait. So she didn't bid on it. And then the realtor called her and said, it's off the market. You lost the deal of the century. She said, I feel bad. I could have got it, but it didn't feel right. He said, pause. Well, 6 weeks later, he called back and said, that deal fell through. Do you still want the house? And she lowballed him. She dropped it over $100,000 and said, not for the price he's asking, but for the price I'm willing to give. So he accepted because it was a relocation and they had to sell the house. So that pause saved her $100,000. Yellow light. Yes. Say yes to this inner guidance coming through. Say yes. Not no and be in control and stay addicted to chaos and misery. These inner senses are teaching you to read life accurately, to read energy as it moves life, like pieces in the border, like the waves on the ocean. It teaches you to get connected to the way things are actually flowing. She said, my logic could not explain me turning that house down, but everything in my heart said, wait, don't do this. And it turned out that was, even though I knew it was the house I wanted, I just needed to get it at a time and a situation that worked for me. So that's what these inner guidance systems give you more information than your outer senses or your logic brain would ever give you. So isn't that exciting? So pay attention. Your red light is your gut. Your green light is your heart. Your pause is somewhere in the whole middle of you. There's also an energy around you that we're starting to activate our auric field. And even better, you're being helped. Consider that. I really want all of us to just settle down. There was this funny Saturday Night Live bit a couple years ago. It's quite a few years ago. It's just like, settle down now. Just settle down. And I feel there's like everybody's in chaos and drama. Just settle down. And I feel like that's what our guides are doing now, is just telling us all, just settle down. How do we do that? We take a breath in through the nose. And here's a settle down breath. Put one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Breathe in to the count of 4. Hold for the count of 2, and then slowly exhale. Initially, if you're all worked up, like you're blowing out of a straw, to the count of 6, and then hold for 2. And do this, repeat this until you start to settle down. Now, another thing you can do is quiet down now. Just quiet down. Turn off the noise. So many people have constant noise coming in their head. I had one client, she said, why can't I get my intuitive faculties going? And I said, I don't know. I just feel that there's noise around you nonstop. And she said, well, the minute I wake up in the morning, I turn on the morning news. And I said, well, that's a good way to completely shock your nervous system and traumatize it. It's noise. Turn it off and be quiet. Or better yet, at least if you need to hear something, let it be some peaceful classical music. Let's quit traumatizing our nervous system with everybody's blah, 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 blah drama. That's what most of the noise that we're hearing on any transmission and news especially is blah, 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 drama, freak out. They're going for that effect. So unplug from the outer world and tune in to the inner world. And if you really feel alone, here's some other good news. And I brought this up last time. You have guides. We have helpers. In fact, I've written a book that everybody should absolutely own. I'm going to show it to you today. Ask your guides. This is the guidebook on how to work with your guides. Ask your guides. And if you're not a reader, then get that book on audio and listen, because the listening faculty is where we start to hear guides. And when I read it, I'm transmitting the guidance. So you hear the guidance and you feel the support. And then you don't have to believe me. Ask your guides for evidence. Ask them for signs. Ask them for gifts. Ask your guides today to give you a gift. Now, it's like when yesterday I was with a client on the phone and the doorbell rang, and I couldn't get off the phone and to the doorbell quick enough, so I just ignored the doorbell, right? I was busy doing something else, but later I went to the door and I got a message that flowers had been delivered and I missed them. That's how the guides feel. It's like they're ringing your doorbell all the time with gifts and flowers and support and reassurance and opportunities and green light direction. But you have to stop what's taking you away from that and be available to receiving the gifts. Be available. Fortunately, my flowers are coming back today, but sometimes those gifts come and go. So open yourself to the gifts. Ask yourself, are you so busy complaining all the time about the way it is so miserable that you're missing the gifts? A lot of people are. I missed my flowers yesterday. And it was a conversation I didn't need to really carry on. I could have just said, I got to go. There's something special for me at the door. We have to change it up. That's the transformation. But I do want to recommend that you keep your sense of humor going, and we grow what we focus on. If you focus on misery, it's going to consume you. But you could be the counter. The counter to that is humor. You can actually find your way forward, because the truth is we're all spirit, and in the end, we're all okay. Everything's okay. We're all going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. The human spirit is divine. We will level up. We are leveling up. You are leveling up. You are part of what you want the world to do. You have an influence. And even being here and considering all of this is part of your contribution. So the most important thing about leveling up and going through, getting out of this chaos of the 3D, the third dimension, ego, fight or flight, I call it barking dog hell, is to go to your heart, because that's the sunshine. When your heart is involved and you're open, your heart is open, you actually start to be an agent of, first you begin to really receive guidance. You start to heal. You actually become more empowered, not less. You become more effective as a creator. So the manifestations will start happening because they manifest through the open heart, not through your obsessive head. The open heart. I'm open. And so are you open. One of the books that I've written a long time ago was completely channeled by my beautiful guides. And it came out in 2012 as Grace, Guidance, and Gifts. It's a daily book that helps you open the heart and receive support. Grace, that's divine support. Guidance, that's activating and helping you read life. And gifts, flowers from the universe. Let me show you my book, Grace, Guidance, and Gifts. Grace, Guidance, and Gifts. Start your morning with this instead of the news. Because the news is just everybody's mental garbage. Blah, 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 blah. Everybody's interpretation going, fire. And your higher self needs to just say, settle down now. Quiet down. I have something to share with you. It's grace, it's guidance, it's gifts. We have spirit help. Everything that I've written over 30 books, and I've been channeling beautiful talks and beautiful things from the guides that help us settle down and open up. That is how we're going to heal the planet. That is how we're going to heal our own lives. That is how you're going to heal your nervous system. So when you're freaking out, what I really want you to say out loud is, settle down, barking dog brain. Settle down, nervous system. And say it out loud and then laugh. And then take a breath. So that you can open these inner channels and begin to say yes to the guidance that's coming in instead of, oh my God, that's so weird. You need to say, no, thank you. Thank you for the guidance. Thank you for the grace. Thank you for the strength to make the choices that align with my path. And have faith. Have faith that everything is going to be okay. Have faith that if I align with my inner guidance and I live from the heart and I settle down my nervous system and I tune out the noise, I'll be okay. Not only okay, I'll become empowered. I will actually become part of the healing of this planet that I so desperately want. And this is really important right now because our planet really needs to settle down. And we're moving into the holiday season, and that's always amped up and noisy. So you don't have to be part of that crazy. You can read life accurately. Your inner self is attuned and is designed to do that. Have faith in yourself, but not this outer reactive, what I call your barking dog brain self. It's the self that lives in your spirit, the self that you can connect to with that breath and with your humor and with your knowing that I'm not alone. Ask for the gifts and the grace and the guidance to settle down and to begin to follow a higher frequency. And you are leveling up. We are moving into becoming new humans, for sure, including you. And you will become part of the healing when you allow yourself to start healing now. It's just a couple breaths away and a couple laughs and a couple moments of quiet to feel this inner guidance for it to begin, for real. So thanks for tuning in today. I am giving you a big hug and a lot of love and much transmission from all the divine support that's beaming in on our planet that is going to help us all become 5D with higher senses to guide us and a heart to connect us and restore sanity and our nervous systems. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up. And if you really enjoyed it, I'd love it if you could subscribe. That would be very helpful. And tell your friends. We all start settling down. Life will get better for all of us more quickly. Okay, all my love. See you next week.